Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Hopefully going to keep today's video a little bit shorter. I think I always say that, but it ends up being 20 minutes long, but I really mean it this time. What we're going to look at is a really quick and simple way of adding a third person capability or a third person model to your first person game. Essentially this will benefit other players mainly rather than yourself. This will allow you to have an actual body when playing multiplayer, rather than the other players just seeing a pair of arms and a gun float around the map. So without any further ado, let's jump into it and get on with it. So first thing, what I've done is I've just opened up a brand new first person template. I'm just going to select the first person character, which is on the map by default, and I am just going to go to details and edit the blueprint. So I'm going to open the blueprint editor. I've got to remember that my webcam is down in the bottom corner and you can't see stuff down there because I usually forget that. So with the blueprint open, what I'm going to do is, well, firstly I'm just going to explain a little bit about how some of this is already pre-set up. So at the moment what you've got is a first person camera with some arms mounted to that, and then a gun mounted to that, and then the sphere collider, which is unnecessary for this video but is where the bullet leaves the barrel. But then you'll notice that there's also this other mesh which is just kind of like empty and blank. There's not actually a mesh attached to this, and this is what we're going to use to put in a third person model, which is great because the first person template is already set up for that, but it just doesn't have a model to load in, and we're just going to do that and just fix a couple of little other bits and pieces that go with that. So you're going to need a third person model. At the moment all we've got is the gun and the arms, so we're going to need to go to the marketplace. Now Unreal has this brilliant pack which is free. It's the animation starter pack. If you search for that you should be able to find it. If you've been around for a while then you've probably already got this in your library, so you can just go to your vault and add that to your project. So I'm just going to press add. Now because I'm working in Unreal 5, it won't show up here because at the moment it's only supported up to 4.26, but it works absolutely fine. So if you press show all projects and scroll down and find the one that you're currently working on, which I cannot remember what I've just named it, what have I called it? What did I call it? Oh, TPC. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to look for TPC. TPC. This is not compatible. Select a version 4.26 and then add it. That's going to initialize, add to your project real quick. Yours might take a little bit longer if you've only downloaded it for the first time, but then when you jump back into Unreal 5 or Unreal 4, this works exactly the same. You'll notice you've got the animation starter pack. Within the pack you've got a ton of animations, but more importantly you've got the Unreal mannequin. So that's the full body mannequin, which then we can use. Now the other great benefit about using the animation starter pack is all of the models and animation, sorry, not the model, all of the animations expect him to be holding a gun, which is great because you're on a shooter game and that's perfect. If you want to follow along with this and you're not in a shooter game, well, you can't really use this set of animations, but what you can do is if you open up another third person template at the same time, you can actually migrate the third person mannequin over to this file with the original animations without the weapon in his hands, just like you would from a normal third person template, and you can follow along just the same. But while screen recording and opening two Unreal clients, it doesn't really work the best for me. I could, if you struggle with that, comment down below and I will sort of talk you through it, or I'll try and find a link of somebody else doing that and make another video, sorry, and then link you to that. But it's straightforward. Open up another third person template, find the UE4 mannequin or mesh folder, and then essentially you just want to migrate and select your project, and then you should be able to follow along. Anyway, go back to your first person character, and we want to load a mesh into here. So now where we've got this animation starter pack, if you go here, you'll notice that you've got an SK mannequin. If you click on that, he will jump straight in, and at the moment he's in the T-pose, so we need to select an animation class. So if you scroll up just a little bit and get animation class, the one that comes with the starter kit is the UE4 ASP, which is animation starter pack, hero TPP. Click on that and you'll notice that now he starts to idle around with his hands like he's holding a weapon. We just need to manipulate this a little bit, so I'm just going to reset the rotation. I'm going to reset the location also. What works best for me is if you do a -95. If you want to tweak it a little bit more, just go to the front view, zoom in, and you know that's close enough level for me. So -95 works ideal for me. And also he's facing the wrong way, so I'm just going to rotate it. Oh, not my camera. I'm going to rotate him around 90 degrees. Yeah, which for some reason UE4 always adds like some little extras, and I just like tidying that up because it annoys me. Anyway, so now he's facing the right way. He looks a little bit silly not holding a weapon. Now, this tutorial is obviously not about setting up the weapon to work how you'd like it to, but I'm just going to quickly chuck a quick and dirty sort of mesh in there to make it look better. So I'm just going to press add. Now I'm doing this with the mesh selected. I'm going to press add. I'm going to go to skeleton mesh or skeletal mesh because the weapon is a skeletal mesh, and I'm just going to change this to I don't know, gun in this instance, but you can put it as weapon or whatever he's holding. So under the gun, now I'm going to go to skeletal mesh, and I'm going to select the SKFP gun. Now, similarly to the mannequin just before, it's pointing the wrong way. What I like to do is parent the socket to, let's go to the right hand, so hand _ R, and you'll notice that now it's bobbing around just as the mannequin does, but it's in the wrong place. So now we can just do some little tweaks. Let me just get in here a little bit closer just to make it a bit easier. So let's just move this over a little bit. And you know what? That's not bad anyway, is it? So let's just change this down to, I don't know. Let's go -2. That looks okay. Let's just change that. So the rotation's not updated as I'm doing it, which is making it more difficult. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that looks... Oh, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you know that looks fair enough for me. Yeah, let's change that back. So if I just quickly go onto the other arms and just type in viz and just remove these two, make them invisible, you can see now that, you know, that roughly looks like a character holding a weapon. that's what we're aiming for. So I'm going to make the the first person weapon and the arms visible again. Now, just a couple of things you want to do is in the details panel, while you've got the mesh selected, is just type in owner, and then you'll get rendering as an option. Now we want to set owner no see. So what this is going to do is basically when you play the game, the camera that's rendering your arms and gun, you don't want that to render the third person model, because you'll just have a random head and shoulders bobbing around in front of your camera, and it won't be very good. We only want other players to be able to see this model. So by setting the rendering to owner no see, you're telling the camera make it invisible for me, but for everyone else you can see it. And the same for the gun. Just select the gun, and owner no see, because you don't want a second gun floating around also. Now, just to make sure, what you can do is if you select the first person camera and then the mesh, you only want owner to see, because you don't want other people to see arms and a random gun floating around either. So only owner see. Great. So now only you can see your arms and gun. If we quickly hit play, this should work fine. So now we've got that working fine. But if I was to set this to 2 players and players listen client, let's go on to here and players a server. You can see that the second player now actually renders as a mesh. Then you can see me in the background there. Pointing the wrong way, it seems, actually. Yeah, okay, that's rather peculiar. And you can't see the ammunition firing there. Right, let's sort both of those things out. So let's get rid of owner. One thing we're gonna try and fix. We couldn't see the ammunition then when I was firing those bullets. This is not the objective of this video, but I'm going to quickly fix that just because it was something that happened. If you want to go to your first person projectile and just under replication, make sure that replicates. And sometimes it's good to have always relevant on there. Now if we press play again and I was to shoot the boxes in front of this guy, you can see now there in the background that one's out. Let me just move this window a little bit. You can see now that the bullets do replicate, and you can see. So you can see on my screen that I've just got the arms. You can see on the other screen that they've just got the arms, but you can clearly see that my character's running around with the gun. So that works perfectly now. Perfect. So what does that leave? Okay, so I figured out what was going wrong. So essentially what I've just done is, for whatever reason, by leaving the first person character model in the game rather than just relying on the network player start, it kind of messes up the rotation of the model. So as you can see here on the other screen, that as I walk towards it, the character should be pointing this way, but then that's wrong if you look. And I couldn't understand why. But because I've used a template, normally what I'd do is I'd delete this model. And because I hadn't done, I didn't realize it was going to cause such an issue. If you delete that and then press play, so then it loads 2 fresh characters in. Now the animation and the orientation is absolutely right. So that threw me a little bit, and no doubt if you're following along, it may also do that for you. That's the reason why. I don't actually know what causes that. That was a little bit peculiar for me. If you know, leave a comment down below. It'd be great for me to find out why. It might be something really simple, but I can't quite explain it. But hopefully that'll help you if you just want to chuck a third person model in your first person shooter game. And yeah, if that helped, please consider giving me a like. Leave a comment if there's anything that you feel like I've left out, or if you want me to go into a bit more detail about, or make another video about something, to build on top of this. That'd be great. If that was helpful, it'd be great if you consider subscribing as well, so then you can keep on track with anything else that I bring out. I am working on some new stuff at the moment, which is why my upload pattern has kind of slightly changed. I'm working on trying to do some series, which will hopefully link together to build something quite nice. So if you don't want to miss that, consider subscribing, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.